Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel where I am the star of the show and he is just here in the background. As usual. Subscribe.
Kingdom Culture TV.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Kingdom Culture TV.
Thank you to everyone that has been subscribing and watching our latest video. Last video, Aaron spoke about the fear of love, which is something that I know a whole lot of people struggle with. And I definitely struggled with, and I know Aaron struggled with. So we want to touch on it a little bit and just kind of dig a little bit deeper.
This whole series that we're doing here, the 5 Deadly Fears, is really touching on everyday fears that we go through that we may not even think to deconstruct. We decided to do what we're calling a coffee talk, to talk and deconstruct, just break down the video and just give some real world insights and our opinions and our experiences on the videos that we're going to be doing in these series.
So if you haven't watched our latest video, The Fear of Love, click the link in the description below so that you can watch it and then you can come back to watch this video.
Yeah, and also we just look at it as like we haven't been asking. Guys, like, comment, subscribe in the chat below. We want to engage with you. We want to hear what you're saying. Thank you so much for the people who have been commenting. But yeah, just do your thing, like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it.
First things first, let's touch on some of the examples of what fear of love looks like.
Leaving someone you're actually starting to catch feelings for on red just because you don't want to seem too available. Fear of love. Purposely avoiding social gatherings just because you're too afraid to open up. Fear of love. Settling for good enough because you really don't want to start all over again. Fear of love. But we've been together for so long and I'm not trying to start all over again.
Stop.
Yeah. Because I can definitely talk about the last one that just came up. Staying in a relationship because you're too afraid to start all over again. Like, and I know a lot of people can relate to this. I just know it. Where do I start? Oh my goodness.
Let's also put it out there, like, relationships like come with a lot of emotional baggage, and like we go through things in relationships, so it's oftentimes hard to kind of leave something that you've invested in. So we don't want to like put anyone in a box and say, yo, you're just scared of love if you don't want to let go of something bad. Not at all.
But when it's something that is toxic and you know that you should get out, but because you have fear that you won't be able, you have to start all over again, then that's an issue.
Facts.
So we're not saying leave your relationship, but if your relationship is toxic and you know that it's the fear keeping you there, you need to get out. I was in a relationship for, I would say 4 years and then 2 years on and off, and I would have probably been in that relationship for a year, maybe not even, had it not been for the fear of love. Say that much. I thought, oh my goodness, I just can't start all over. I've invested so much time in this. I know it's bad. I know it's toxic. I know it's not helping me grow in any way, and it's not helping my relationship with God grow. But I'm scared because I don't know what's on the other side. So that was how I experienced fear of love, and it held me captive in a relationship that I wasn't fully even happy in.
We'll go on to the next one.
Immersing yourself in work or using focusing on your goals as an excuse to not build intimacy with those around you. Fear of love. As a hustler myself, I can attest to the balance that making time to love those around you brings to your life. Total game changer. Can I tell you something? Yes, focus is crucial, and there's gonna be certain seasons of our life where we're gonna have to limit our distraction. But you see, the real test is not can we stay focused in solitude, but can we remain grounded even when we're surrounded? Can I get an amen?
Stop. Okay, so yes, you guys got me. That was a personal me moment for sure. Oh man, like, where do I start? Like, I mean, it's not even just a guy thing, but I was gonna say I think a lot of guys can relate. Don't get it twisted. A lot of women are about their business, and a lot of women are ambitious. And there's a certain time where ambition and desire kind of override balance, right? And I was definitely there. And you have to grow, you have to learn, you have to live. And even getting into the relationship with Milena when we first started, I was totally out of balance, totally out of sync. And work was not my number one priority. Making it was my number one priority. And I didn't realize it. I thought I was guarding myself from getting too invested because I know that I didn't have control over whether...
How much he fell in love with me. That's how much he didn't have control over. And he was falling so head over heels for me. He was like, what is this? It felt like a roller coaster, and he was just so in love. And so that's fear of love for you. But here he is today.
But I wasn't going to say that. But yeah, no, totally. Quiet, man. You rude on my...
No,
this is my friends.
No,
These are my
These
friends.
are my friends.
Okay, so what I was gonna say was, it wasn't the fact that I thought I was gonna love her too much, although, like, you know, that did happen. It was more so I, in my own world, had control over the work that I put into my work and the amount of energy I put into it. And I said, well, if I put this much energy, I'm gonna get this much out in return. But if I put this much energy into a person, there's no guarantee that I'll get a return. So in a logical mindset, that's like definitely setting yourself up for not experiencing all that you can in relationships. Can I tell you something? That relationships are your most valuable asset in the whole world. Intimate relationships.
Sure.
Building them, it's like, you know, when the Bible talks about building our wealth and our riches on earth that will just rot away and die, when we can build in the kingdom of heaven. And relationships are one of those riches that we must build here.
Yeah.
So definitely guilty of that one. And this is good that we're having this talk. We can break down, get it personal, and
you guys can get a feel of what we've been through, what our fear of love was.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe we even relate to it and know how to overcome it.
So something that we touched on in the video are the reasons why we have these fears. You know, we touched on basically that although they seem physical, they're not. They're really spiritual. They're a spiritual stronghold. Something that has been set up that the enemy uses from time, little bit by little bit by little bit, from when we're young to when we get old. And these experiences come in the form of heartbreak through past relationships. And we're not just talking about intimate relationships, but a relationship with our spouse, relationship with our parents, with our friends. Like, we're relational beings. So let's watch some of the examples right here in the video.
Guys, don't sleep. That ex who lied to you, that mom who abandoned you, that cousin that molested you, that father who walked out on you. Strongholds. Today, I want to encourage you guys.
Let me begin. Well, I think where my strongholds began would have been with my dad. When I was younger, I was very attached. So there was definitely love there, of course. I was very attached to my dad. He left when I was like 14, turning 15. And you know, the 15th year is like quinceañera of, you know, a Latina woman, is like where a woman goes from being a little girl to a woman. Right. So to me, that was an age where I really, you know, you need your dad there. That's why, you know, in a quinceañera, you have your dad who changes your shoe from a flat into a high heel. So it's a very symbolic moment of your father basically throwing you into womanhood, if that makes sense. So I think when my dad left at around that time, I grew this like fear of being left and feeling just afraid to love again and afraid to be attached to someone, because what if they leave? And then that led me to go into now a relationship where I'm in there when I know it's toxic for 4-6 years or so, afraid to now leave because maybe someone left me, so maybe I can't leave, if that makes any sense. So those are just some of my personal struggles with the fear of love and how those strongholds came about.
Right. That's awesome. Thank you, babe. Like, obviously I knew this, but hearing it even like right now and connecting it to that, it definitely has new resonance with me. And I guess I could add to that and say that my fear of love definitely came from my parents as well. And it definitely came from not really seeing relationships work out.
Oh, yeah.
And going from like my mom's house to my dad's house, back and forth. I even subconsciously, you know, as kids, we would think like, oh, I wish my parents were together. Subconsciously, I didn't really think that. I was just like, I kind of wish it wasn't like that. I wish I could just stay at one place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stability, yeah.
Stability. So my fear of love came out when I was in relationships, and the second there was a fight, a disagreement, something that reminded me of the conflict that I have faced in my younger years, I would want to leave.
Yeah.
I would be like, I'm out. You know
So
what I mean?
imagine that mix with this mix. A girl who's afraid for someone to leave.
Jeez.
Now we get in a relationship with someone who's only seen leaving.
Leaving. Oh my gosh.
And now imagine how the beginning of our relationship went. It was a huge struggle. We would argue.
Yeah.
He would want to walk away, and then I was so like heartbroken and hurt because I'm like, you're like in my head, I'm thinking you're leaving me just like how my dad left me.
Wow.
Yeah, that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
guys,
crazy.
this is not even crazy. Like coffee, maybe it's the coffee.
I don't know what it
maybe
is,
it's the
but
coffee, because right now I'm just like taking it in on a whole other level. And yeah, we talked about this, we discussed this.
We always reflect back in a relationship and think what was our experiences when we were younger and how did they affect us. But I guess now as we're talking, I think we're just like discovering even more.
So.
And I love that.
I love
that.
it too. I love it. And like and I think God is so good. I know God is so good because how he uses our testimony and how he uses our story and our pain and our struggles to be our biggest testimony to someone else, to help them through what they're going through. Guys, we've not only encountered the fear of love, but we overcame it.
Yeah.
And in this next segment of the video we're gonna watch, we're gonna see some ways that we can overcome it.
Today, I want to encourage you guys to fight. And here are your weapons. Weapon number 1, pick up your spiritual sword, which is the word of God. Weapon number 2, pray and talk to God in your native tongue. Weapon number 3, lift up a sweet, sweet sound of praise on your way to victory.
Ah, man. I know it sounds simple, and it really is that simple. And we're gonna go in depth as the series goes along. I'm really excited. You guys, you have to stay tuned. The 5 Deadly Fears. It's a fire series.
Oh,
it is.
Definitely.
It really is. It's short and sweet, and we're gonna be doing these breakdowns for each and every video. But anyways, guys, these are really the keys. They're really the keys to overcoming fear and overcoming strongholds. Because you know, like we mentioned in the video, it doesn't happen overnight. And the word of God washes us. It renews our mind.
It helps us heal.
Yeah, and helps us to think as God thinks and think as he thinks about us. Because sometimes we're our worst critic. Oftentimes we're our worst critic. And we can beat ourselves up for something that wasn't even our fault to begin with. Especially when it comes to, you know, cheating, where it's like, well, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, and that's exactly where the enemy wants you. He wants you to attack your own self rather than looking for that healing.
Yeah.
So you stay in that hole.
Yeah, you attack yourself, you blame the other person, so you live in unforgiveness and you live in fear. So it's like he's got 2 for 1. He got 2 for 1. I can make her or him not forgive that person, so they're not walking in love.
Yeah.
And I can make them feel insecure about themselves.
So they're not feeling like they're not loving themselves.
So they don't walk in victory.
That was good.
So that's it, right? Yeah. So, and this is how the kingdom gets lower and lower and lower, and the enemy keeps us captive. So yeah, I mean, this is good. This is good. We're excited to break down these videos, and more to come, guys.
Definitely a whole lot more to come.
Yeah, and like we said, the Bible plans are in the description below, and these are really gonna help you just open up your mind to just stepping out little by little and discovering what that fear looks like in your life. You know?
And if you are going through this fear right now, I can tell you from my experience who went through that fear, and Aaron who also went through that fear, that there's a way out. 100% there is. And you will get out of there, but it takes time, and you need to have patience with yourself. I think that's one thing that's so important, is to be kind to yourself and be patient with yourself, because things take time. It's a process that takes a long time. And with God, it's his timing at the end of the day, right? And you're right, all things are possible with him.
So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for our new videos coming out.
Like, subscribe, do all the things that you're supposed to do when you're a YouTuber.
Oh my gosh, you see how to do it. Anyways, guys, you already know what it is. It's Kingdom Culture TV. We are shifting culture by advancing
Kingdom
culture.